thought we'd try a different kind of fun experiment that I haven't seen going around lately, but we'll see. We'll see how much fun this can be. We're gonna count down the most dangerous, deadly dictators that the world has ever known, and kind of give a tally as to who's killed more people, Nazis or communists, and we'll see how that goes. Oh, while we're at it, just so you know where I am, here's where I stand on the 8 values chart. You can see that I am capitalist, diplomatically I'm balanced, I'm liberal on the civil axis, and neutral on the societal axis. And that's put me into a libertarian capitalist, which is not really surprising given, my content and who I am and all that stuff. But let's get into the dictators. That's going to be the most fun. Okay, first we have Enver Pasha from Turkey. His death toll was 1.1 to 2.5 million. We'll never, I mean, they just kind of like give a range on all of these, but we'll see what we have. 5 years in power, worst offense, the Armenian genocide. So this is a young Turk here. Type of regime, military. Okay, well, military regime, that's fine. Next, we have Kim Il-sung, North Korea. Death toll, 1.6 million. 46 years in power. Worst offense, the Korean War. Communist. Oh, dear. Already got the communists on the board at 1.6 million. Okay. So next, we have Ho Chi Minh. 1.7 million. 24 years in power. Vietnam War was his worst offense. And he was also a communist. Man, communists are really racking them up. Okay, so next we have Pol Pot. Pol Pot was also a communist. 1.7 to 2.4 million people dead under his regime. His worst offense, Cambodian genocide, communist, of course. Next, number 9, Saddam Hussein. Death toll 2 million. 34 years in power. Kurdish genocide was his worst offense. He was a simple authoritarian military regime, so we'll move on. Next, we have Yahya Khan from Pakistan. Death toll 2 million to 12 million. Wow, that is a wide range. 2 years in power. Worst offense, the Bangladesh genocide military regime. Next, we have Tojo Hideki. 4 million death toll military regime. World War II civilian genocide. Okay, so he was the leader of Japan, during World War II, 1941 to 1944, military leader. All right, so we're just going to move on to number 6. Vladimir Lenin, death toll 4 million. 7 years in power, communist, of course. Russian Civil War was his worst offense, so he killed most of his people coming up. So, yeah, there you go, Lenin. There's one. Number 5, Hirohito. 6 million, monarchy. 1926 to 1989, he ordered the rape of Nanking. 6 million people. All right, so next. Chiang Kai-shek, 10 million. 18 years in power, 228 massacre was his worst offense. Military regime. We're getting close to the big boys now. Let's see how they stack up here. Number 3, Adolf Hitler. Nazi scum. Death toll 17 to 20 million. That is a lot of people dead under Nazis. For the Holocaust, of course. Type of regime, fascist. Fascist Nazi. All right, next. Joseph Stalin, Uncle Joe Stalin. Death toll 40 million to 62 million. 12 years in power. Worst offense, the Gulag camps. He was, of course, a communist regime, and we're just going to move on to the top deadliest leader here, which would be Mao Zedong, with 45 to 75 million people killed during the 34 years he was in power. His worst offense was the Great Chinese Famine, and the type of regime was communist. That is, so far, communism's looking like the most deadly one. But I'm going to tally all this up, and we'll have a big scoreboard here in just a second here. Okay, so not counting current North Korea and its brand of communism, or Cuba, which I'm sure hasn't gotten quite the death toll that any of the other communists have, those slackers. Communists to date has killed 146.7 million to Hitler's 20 million. We're gonna go to the extreme and give him the benefit of a doubt that he probably killed around 20 million people, or was responsible for the death of 20 million people. But here's the thing: we've counted all the worst genocides and horrors of communism, and the worst horrors and genocides of fascism, or Nazis, or National Socialists, but we're not taking into account the fact that Hitler was a socialist, and as Vladimir Lenin himself said, the goal of socialism is communism. So we're going to just go ahead and add the 20 million onto the 146.7 million of communism for a total of 166.7 million people killed under socialism/communism. Because, again, the goal of socialism is communism. The only difference between the Nazi regime in World War II Germany and the Soviet Union of the same time period was the fact that the Nazis wanted to have national socialism, and the communists in Russia wanted to have international socialism. So basically, you have socialism on either side. It was just a matter of scale. All right, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you for tuning in and sticking with me for as long as you did. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful Thursday. Getting close to the weekend, guys. That doesn't make sense if you watch this on Friday or Saturday. But I hope you guys have a wonderful whenever you guys are watching this. So I'm just going to go ahead and steal that from Dirty Hippie Panda. She's pretty cool too. Thanks. Bye.